Hello, folks. This is Joe from My Geeksy, and I'm here with my lovely girlfriend Sarah. I was just going to say girlfriend, but no, I'll go with lovely because I think that's the better adjective. And we are actually driving home after going to the Cherry Capital Comic Con in Traverse City, and this is going to be like a conversation about the event, conversation slash review. And this is going to be our first time trying this because normally whenever I do like my reviews, I don't like the way they turn out. I mean, the written ones are okay, but like when I just do like an audio version of it and I have to do the rehearsal over and I keep screwing up numerous times, and I don't like it, and I'm way better in conversations. So if this tends to be like a rambling thing, oh well, we're trying something new, big deal. If you like it, cool. If you don't, that's cool too, but I want to see where this goes. So, Cherry Capital Comic Con 2023.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Sarah. Well, how was your time at the event, hon?
I enjoyed it, but honestly, I've really never had a bad experience at Cherry Capital. I've been there a couple times now, and it's always been an amazing experience. I think the surrounding area is gorgeous. The drive up there is always just very, very pretty. Northern Michigan is so beautiful, and to be able to make that drive in such a gorgeous time of the year when you got everything blooming and the trees are all green, and to come up for Memorial Day weekend, it's just amazing time.
I would agree. I don't know how many times I've been there already. Is this like our fifth or sixth time coming to this event?
I haven't been here as much as you have. I think this is my third time to Cherry Capital Comic Con.
Okay.
Maybe fourth, but I think third.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to do the whole conversation about the event instead of like your formal review, because I've created quite a few reviews on the event, so you can go back and read them on the website, and yeah, just rather have a conversation about it. I would agree with like your intro about the whole event. It's I've never had a bad time either, and it's surrounded. I'm just gonna echo your statement because I'm unoriginal, and like beautiful area, yada yada yada,
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada yada yada. That'll be my official review about Cherry Capital Comic Con. Is yada yada yada. Now,
you're such a professional.
Super
you should
professional.
Pat yourself on the back.
Not going to, because I'm holding two microphones while you're
Yeah.
driving. So, and yes, also we are driving like on the way back home. So if you hear like cars honking, it's because Sarah has been just
I'm a maniac. Okay?
on the road.
Road rage all the way.
But no, I mean, we should probably talk about like the con itself. Like, going into it, they have like obviously comic book artists, vendors. They have a gaming area.
By
panel
the way,
discussions.
I am not holding on to anything. I am driving, but I am not holding anything. I am not doing anything. Joe has all the equipment, so my eyes are on the road and on the steering wheel. Just putting that out there in case anybody wants to say anything.
I literally said I was holding two microphones, so I think that would imply that you're not holding one while driving.
Just in case people want to say something, okay?
Okay.
Listen.
I think people have even we'll probably have already cut out of this review by now. Let's be honest. But nonetheless,
it's probably going to be enough of a hot mess that they might listen anyways.
I'm probably just going to cut this whole section out. I don't even know at this point. But no, let's get back on track here. My goodness.
You're regretting asking me to do this, aren't you? Already.
I can see that happening. But no, it's just, podcasting is clearly not in my future. But yes, Cherry Capital Comic Con has like your standard fixtures of like a Comic Con, like I said, the Artist Alley. You have your vendors, you have your gaming area, you have your panels room, and whatnot. Would you say like you would see that at a typical Comic Con?
Yeah. Yes, I would.
And just various things to buy and whatnot and to experience. But there are some other things that I definitely want to touch upon later in this review that makes Cherry Capital Comic Con stand out. So, like, when you were going through the floors and stuff like that, what was like your experience like?
I made several passes through the vendor showroom. because I like to. There's always, every time you go through it always feels like you see something new because you miss something, because there's always so many people around, there's so many different things, and as people sell stuff, they're always putting more stuff out, so sometimes there's new stuff to see. And you know, I like seeing the creativity that everyone shows. It's astounding to me just how much variety of stuff that's out there. And it's amazing, really, just the depth of human emotion and creativity that's out there. I keep saying it, but it's amazing to me, and I just enjoy seeing all of it and experiencing everyone's joy as they see everything and they buy this stuff that's been created for them.
Nice. I mean, when I walked through the Comic-Con, the setup was fine, like per usual. I mean, I think I've had issues with it in the past, but they've changed it around, you know, and it's been a good experience, a good flow through and whatnot.
I think that the aisles were nice and wide. I didn't have, I mean, of course there were some issues with bumping into people, but I mean, with so many people in any space, that's going to happen. But I mean, there were nice wide aisles, and so there was enough space to move around and to get around. So I think that was pretty nice. So all you had to do was just turn around and you could see something else. And it did seem like it had a flow going from the left to the right, moving from more toys and stuff to going more towards the artistic side over to the right side of the hall.
Okay, yes, definitely, like, upon entering in the main entrance, yes, I could see where all the vendors were, and then it would flow into art, and then it would flow into, like, the guest area.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, definitely from left to right, I can certainly see that. That's a good perspective that I didn't really think about,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but...
One vendor that I saw this year that I don't remember seeing before, and I don't remember their name. I do apologize. I am terrible with names, mainly because I can't visualize things. I have aphantasia, so I can't see things when I close my eyes to try and look at things. So trying to, like, picture names and things is very, very hard for me. But there was this booth that had all of this, like, knitted hats and plushies and then, like, 3D printed things, and it was a fairly large booth, and I didn't remember seeing them last year, but they had all these hats that I saw kids going around wearing, and it was just so cool seeing them, and it seemed like a really, really big booth this year, that so many people were just like being amazed over these hats, and they were really, really cool hats. They were like these monster hats. They were really cool. I did not buy myself one. I'm not a huge fan of hats. I don't like anything on my head, but they were really cool.
Did you see the aquarium filled with dice?
Yes. I wanted to take the whole aquarium home. I may have a small problem. You should see the amount of dice I have at home. Joe has. No, actually, I don't even think Joe has seen my entire collection of dice, and he lives with me.
All right, so I guess since we're talking about dice, that would segue into, like, the because we were talking about, like, the vendor area and stuff like that, and we'll come back and talk about, like, the comic book artist and guest a little bit later. But as far as, like, the gaming section, you can take it away on that one, hun, because that is your area of expertise, because I am not a gamer as far as, like, tabletop stuff goes. Video games, yes. Put me in front of a console and a PC, I'm golden. But, like, as far as tabletop and traditional gaming, it's not my thing so much.
Oh, I did enjoy the gaming hall. I went in there a couple different times. They had this huge section of different games for sale, and then they had this giant rack of games that you could check out to play and bring to a table. Unfortunately, I am very introverted and I have problems interacting with people I don't know. I can definitely, once I've been introduced to someone, I can talk to them and interact and be a social butterfly for a short amount of time, and then I have to go and recharge my social battery. I have to hide for a while. But so I didn't check out any games or play any games with anyone except for one demo that I did. But I do enjoy seeing all of the games, and it did give me some ideas of games that I want to buy and add to my collection, which I do have a very big collection of games at home. And there were a couple different people selling things in there as well. And then there was another booth in the back that had a silent auction that was benefiting a cancer charity, which I had signed up for several items, which I did win those. I was very, very happy with that. And I had purchased a couple items off of their table as well that they had.
Was that Gaming for a Cure?
I think it might have been,
because I believe I saw that on the sign when you were picking up your stuff.
I think it might have been, but I honestly, like I said, I'm terrible with names.
But what was the demo?
I wish I could remember.
What was the demo that you were playing? Was it Pocket Samurai?
Yes. I keep wanting to call it Pocket Ninjas, but I think that was like a 90s movie. No, it was Little Ninjas or something. Three Ninjas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Rocky Tum Tum or something like that. But nonetheless, God, the 90s. But anyways.
Terrible 90s movies that were so awesome when you were a kid.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with this. Let's get back on track here. Wait. So you were playing Pocket Samurai.
I was playing Pocket Samurai, and it is this fun little game. I did the demo, and it is this quick little 5 to 10 minute game. They are actually going to be doing their Kickstarter in the next month or two, I believe he said. So I did sign up for that. It's this quick card game to where you each of you gets your hand. It's like 8 cards in your hand, and when you're pulling your hand, both people know what each other has. And so when you go to play your cards, like, you know what your opponent has and your opponent knows what you have. And so it's kind of like a mind game. What do you think your opponent's going to play? And is he going to strike out at you this turn? Is he not? Are you going to lose? And so the game lasts really quickly. Can sometimes go really quickly, or sometimes can take a couple of turns. But it seemed really, really fun. So I can't wait for that Kickstarter to go out. Once it does, I am definitely backing that one. So Pocket Samurai is definitely on my list of things to back.
All right, that's cool. I mean, they also had, and as far as the gaming goes, they also had video games for the kids to play. Because I was seeing, I believe, Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the screen. One of the other things that, there are 2 attractions at the Cherry Capital Comic Con that I've always enjoyed, but there was a change to that formula this year. Because in the past it was the drink and draw and the karaoke contest. But this year it was the drink and draw and the prom that they were hosting at the Cherry Capital Comic Con.
In the past, I have been to the drink and draw, but this year I did not go. I was tired, I was overstimulated, and I decided I needed to stay in this year's. And I am very sad that I missed it, because it's really cool just to see everything that the artists come up with and interact with them as they're doing it.
Well, unlike you, I actually went to the drink and draw, so I mean, like, per usual, I had a good time there, like Sarah said, watching the artists create stuff. But the thing that I really enjoy about it is the social aspect where, like, everyone can just hang out like after hours at the con. I don't drink nor do I draw, but I do have like a lot of artist friends that I've made over the years at the Cherry Capital Comic Con, or I'll just say C4 for short for the remainder of this conversation. But yeah, I've always loved hanging out with people and just talking with them for like hours, going to like various groups and just talking. And it's not even about like comic art; it can just be about life or just numerous topics, and it's always great. And the cool thing about that is like all the art that they create during the drink and draw, that art is then donated to C4 to go to the silent auction the next night, and all the money made from the silent auction would go to charity, like the Heroes Initiative, which was the which would raise money to go towards medical costs for independent artists out there, because unfortunately comic book artists and writers, it's not like it's like a 9-to-5 job where you have benefits and stuff like that. They have to come up with their own health insurance, and that can get expensive and stuff, as you know how wonderful the healthcare system is in the United States, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is
anyone is self-employed, it's terrible.
Absolutely. But the fact that they're raising money to help out comic book artists, I think that's awesome.
Yes, I agree.
But like, so instead of like the karaoke contest that they've had in the years past, they had the prom this year, and it was cool seeing people dress up to attend the prom and dance. And then there was like a contest going for a prom king and prom queen, and the contestants in it, each of them were going around trying to collect money. You could vote with your money to who would be the prom queen or the prom king, and then all the money that the contestants were collecting all went to the charity. All went to charity and whatnot. So between the silent auction that was being held during the prom and the prom king and queen trying to collect money, they raised $5,000 to go towards charity this year as a combination, and I think that's pretty awesome.
That is amazing. Say that again. $5,000. Like 5,000 with 3 zeros. Like, that's a huge amount of money.
It is a huge amount of money.
And I think that is, like, that's surreal that amount of money was raised.
In such a short amount of time, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like legit a short amount of time. Because, like, during the silent auction, during the prom, like, I think those things were out there for, like, 2 hours, you know, and then, yeah, $5,000. Now, and also another thing that the Cherry Capital I did it again. We'll just say it. The Cherry Capital Comic Con has each year is the Gary Reed Award, which will go to like an individual in the independent comic book scene where someone that would play like a mentoring would be not play a mentoring. They would be like a mentoring figure that would try to help raise the comic scene, help new people with like how to get into it, how to do better at their comics, and just help each other out and stuff. And they would always have 4 individuals this year. Now Sarah and I will have to admit that we weren't able to attend the Gary Reed Award show this year because we stepped out to go meet up with a personal friend who I haven't seen in over a year. But I did find out the winner of the event, and that was Doug Wood. So congrats to Doug Wood. I can't really comment on the Gary Reed Award any more than that because, quite frankly, I wasn't there this year, so I'm not going to even front on that. So, is there anything else that you wanted to add to, like, the special awesome activities that C4 has that I haven't covered already?
I don't know.
All right, thank you. Astute as always. But, we can like to segue into the guest section of this. I mean, this year C4 had like a mainly comic artists. I mean, they had 2 pop culture artists. Not pop culture artists, pop culture celebrities show up. That would be Marty Kleba who was in Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He was the little person. He's been in quite a few films. Like, if you saw him, you would recognize him. I went up and talked to him briefly. Didn't try doing an interview, and he was like super nice. And yeah, he was a cool dude. This year, as certainly a new guest to C4 was from Magic Ninja Entertainment, part of the Astronomicon crew, would be Blaze Ya Dead Homie, the rapper. And, you know, he came up on Saturday. He was only there on Saturday only, and he was there to take pictures with fans and sign. He just recently came out with like a comic book with Rob Humphreys, who was the writer for it, and they had a variant issue created by one of the other artist guests, Ben Templesmith, who I'll get into a little bit later. And yeah, Blaze was there this year, and I know personally that one of my friends drove over 2 hours from Grand Rapids to come up and see Blaze and get like the comic variant cover and whatnot. So I think it's cool, and that C4 was branching out, trying to bring in like fans from the Astronomicon world up to C4.
I didn't interact with Blaze at all, but I did overhear a couple people mentioning how nice of a person he was after they were done talking to him.
Yeah, I've always heard that about him and like the rest of the Astronomicon crew. So shout out to Twisted, M&E, Magic Ninja Entertainment, their crew. They've always been nothing but nice, and Blaze seemed very nice too. I didn't really get to talk to him a whole lot as well, you know. The comic artists, you can't really mention a Comic-Con without talking about comic artists. Like this year, one of the guests I was really excited to talk to was Ben Templesmith. He was the artist on 30 Days of Night. And I knew him from 30 Days of Night, but I also liked his Wormwood Corpse Detective comics, or Detective Corpse, one of the two. But I remember him from that. I bought a Mortal Kombat art book off of him, and Ben Templesmith is just like, he was just a cool guy, you know, getting to talk to him. Actually, after looking at the book, slight correction from Ben Templesmith, it is Wormwood Gentleman Corpse, not Corpse Detective. So that's on me. Some of the other comic guests was like Angel Medina, David Peterson. David Peterson is definitely known for the Mouse Guard comics, and if you haven't read those, I think those are pretty cool. I would suggest checking those out. Ryan Lee, Jason Moore, Kenny Porter, Joe Pruitt. Some of our favorite artists that were guests there this year: Corinne Roberts, Kaylin Smith, Jay Foskett, you know. But they're there every year, and that's not even a knock against C4. I think that's like one of the comforting things to know, is that there will be certain guests, Michigan guests, that I know that I'll be able to see there, and I'm happy to see them.
Shout out to Corinne, who did the cover artwork.
Yes, Corinne did a fantastic job for the cover artwork for the C4 program for this year, and like the original art actually went on, was auctioned, and I saw that someone at one point had bid $200 for it.
Oh wow!
Yes. Yeah, bid $200 for it. I thought that was pretty cool. Did you interact with any of the artists there? Was there any pieces that stood out to you?
Well, I interacted with my usuals: Corinne, Kaylin, Christy
McCulfer?
Yeah, Christy McCulfer.
Oh, Christy Cube.
Yeah, she does some amazing stuff. I like her artwork.
Christy?
Yes.
Yeah, and she's such a sweet person.
She is. She's very, very sweet. I enjoy talking to her. I always make a point to go visit with her because she's so nice.
But I didn't really get to hang out with her so much this year, and I felt so bad. That's the thing. One of the things was about C4 is, like, I was so busy trying to catch up and say hello to so many people that I barely had time to say hi to everybody. Mm-hmm. And and since I was there for like a short amount of time, like this year C4 felt like it was like shortchanged on time for me. It went by way too quick. That's like the issue that I had with it, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's not even a knock against C4. It's just like I felt like I did not have enough time to do everything that, or talk to everybody that I wanted to see. You know.
Well, it didn't help that we did have to leave early today, so.
Yeah, and it also didn't help. Yeah, that definitely cut down on like 3 hours of time. I would have been able to say goodbye to people and stuff like that. That's probably like the only con that I have against C4 is that there's never enough time when you're having that much fun. But no, like, so you did talk to Christy Cube,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I got to talk to Andy Shaggy Quarter.
Oh, Will. I talked to Will. Did you talk to Will?
Yes, I was about to bring up Will Jones and Krista Schumann, you know, his girlfriend. Alexis Royce, I commissioned some artwork off of her. I'm going to be waiting to get that in the mail in a few months, you know. Talked to Travis Bramble. Shout out to Misty Bondi as well. Taryn Maslowski.
Austin
Shue. I want to say that's his last name. Because Austin, I want to say his name of his company is Paper Gear Company, but correct me. I could be wrong, but he makes these awesome paper figures of pop culture figures.
Oh, yeah. Like, they are so intricate.
Yeah. It
just kind of, like, blows my mind.
And I have to give him props for, like, he did some 80s and 90s wrestlers, and like he had a deep cut rendition of The Rock, but back then when The Rock, that meme photo of The Rock wearing like his turtleneck sweater, long sleeve sweater with a fanny pack and the silver chains right next to his stairwell. So Austin even created the stairwell.
Really? I didn't see that one.
I took a photo
man.
of it.
Oh, good.
And that will show up on the website at some point. But yeah, I was like, for being a wrestling nerd myself, that was a deep cut, you know. And he also had one of Mean Gene Okerlund that he sold as a set with something else that I can't remember off the top of my head. He had Stone Cold Steve Austin. He had like a lot of cool X-Men. He had some of his own created ones. And then like for those that didn't want to spend money on the bigger pieces, there were like $5 little cats that you could purchase as well. So yeah, Austin, just definitely a unique approach to what I see at Comic-Cons. And then I also have to give props to, I bought a book off of Jeff Manley, his Riley books, because I was not...
Jeff was right next to him, right?
Jeff was literally right next to him.
Yep, I said hi to Jeff, too, considering I had an unknown rivalry with him last year over over my...
bidding war
my silent auction. Did not even know who I was bidding against, but I had a rivalry with somebody, and then it ended up being Jeff. And
did you two talk about that?
I think we made jokes about it last year.
Okay.
And it was just funny.
But yeah, like shout out to Jeff because I bought his second book of the Riley series about like a teenage Sasquatch. And I was like, when I bought the book last year, it was like $10. I was like, all right, I'll give it $10 to support like a local artist. And I was not ready for how hilarious that book was. It was like, it was so wrong on so many levels. So I was excited that he had book 2 in print. And he already said that he already has like book 3, but he didn't bring any copies with him. So I was like, crap, because I would have been happy to buy that. But you know, I just like talking to the artists and hanging out with them. It's always cool just to see them each year. Like, even if it's like the same artist, like once again, it's not a knock against C4 whatsoever.
Oh yeah, and
you know.
Stephanie too.
Shout out to Stephanie Menard. She's more of a writer, but she does create her own. I mean, she writes her comics and stuff like that. Shout out to Stephanie Menard because like I had not seen her in probably 3 to 4 years. She took a step away from like the convention scene due to the pandemic. You know, and I don't hold that against her. Rightfully so. She didn't. And so you want to feel comfortable to come back to these things, public gatherings. Take your time, folks. Don't let anyone rush you.
Her and her husband are absolutely lovely people. I spent quite a bit of time talking to them.
Mike's pretty funny.
Yeah, he is very funny.
You know, like, it was funny, like, Mike was just, like, yelling at me when he was, like, drunk. And he was like, I was like, dude, I like how you're like just yelling at me. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. Like it wasn't like angry yelling. It like he was just raising his voice and stuff. He's like, you just got to tell me to like bring it down. Do this hand gesture to bring it down, and I'll understand. And I was like, it's all good, you know. I mean, speaking of husbands that I got to know, I got to meet Kaylin Smith's husband, Jared, and got to talk to him for a bit. And we were talking about our love for Red Dead Redemption 2. Kaylin and I are huge Red Dead Redemption 2 fans, and it was cool talking with her husband about that stuff. But yeah, just hanging out with people. That's always one of the cool aspects of C4. Are there any cons or improvements that you would like to see to the event? I do have one con, and it wasn't like with the event itself. It was like with our hotel room at the Grand Traverse Resort. And it was mainly the rainfall shower in the room. Like, I have no problem with the shower itself. I had a problem with the fact that there was like no curtain or no door to close in this room. In like the actual shower, like in years past when I've stayed at the Cherry Capital Comic Con, like the section I was in would have a bathtub and like have curtains that you could close, and you could take a shower without having to worry about water splashing on the floor, you know. And yes, I was under the rainfall shower, and I was just like, okay, I thought I could close the door. It's like, no, this thing doesn't slide. So I have like half a glass pane, and the other half is like open completely. And, like, I'm trying to stay far away from it, but water's still splashing out onto the floor. I don't understand, like, the concept of that. That was, like, my only issue with, like, the room.
I didn't have any water splash on the floor. Do you just not know how to take a shower properly?
Apparently not. I'm like a shaggy dog afterwards, and I had to shake all over the place. But it's just, like, that was, like, my only issue with, like, the actual room itself. But one thing I was happy about is, like, we actually had a fridge in the room for once, because, like, in years past, we've never had a fridge in the room. I don't understand. Like, you have a resort hotel, and you don't have a fridge in the room. But, like, this year, we had a fridge.
You know, I love staying at the Grand Traverse Resort, and I am, like, very, very happy with the upgrades that they've done to the resort, because I love being able to, when I need a break, when I need I have that space to go back to recharge. When I have had enough of so many people around me that I have a spot to go where I can just hide and be by myself. And that, to me, is worth so much. Like, that is, and it comes in so much handy. And I used it several times throughout both multiple days, you know. Like I said, I did not go to the drink and draw on Friday. It took me several hours to work up the courage just to go to the prom. You know, I mean, because I was just like burnt out from people from during the day. So, I mean, it was like after 10 o'clock before I went down on Saturday night.
Yeah, I was there well until like 12:45 in the morning after the prom, just hanging out with people and just talking. But, are there like any cons against the event? I believe before we started recording, you were talking about like how hot the vestibule area was.
Yeah, you know, I think that might be because of like all the glass in there and then just the sun beating down. I don't think that's anything that could be fixed. I do like that they changed the setup on where they put the food setup, because last year it was right there along the ramp walk, and so it kind of blocked the bathrooms, and it also blocked the walkway when people were walking from the gaming hallway and going into the main hall, and where it was kind of like the food line was blocking the flow of traffic.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, and so moving it to along a different wall like really fixed that issue. So that was really nice. So that was a definite improvement there.
Yeah. I mean, back to the temperature thing, like once you went into like the main vendor area and stuff, it was considerably cooler. There was a noticeable temperature difference, and
the main vendor area, which you would have expected to be overheated
Not
and
even
kind of
close.
stuffy, was not hot at all. It was very cool. It was definitely not stuffy. I did not feel like it was bad at all. Like there wasn't a single spot where I had any issues.
It was quite cool, and I know we're rambling here and there, but like shout outs to like the C4 crew and the folks from Grand Traverse Resort for having like water coolers throughout the whole convention that was easily accessible.
Water was everywhere, and it was always cold.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is like you didn't, like at most Comic-Cons, you wouldn't have to go buy another bottle of water just to stay hydrated. Or like if you were lucky, found like a water fountain that you can just like refill your water bottle in. It was like free water that you can just go and fill up your cup, or if you had a bottle on you could fill up your cup. Fill that up and stuff. So yeah, I have to give them a shout out too.
Yeah, it was definitely very much appreciated having water readily available, and just having a beautiful, gorgeous space. And the staff was amazing, the volunteers were amazing, everybody was always super helpful and very on top of things. Like it's always been an amazing event, and I have never had a bad time there. I've always had an exceptional experience. It's probably one of my favorite conventions to go to.
Well, thanks for wrapping up the review before we even get to the wrap-up part. Love it. Thank you. But maybe before we actually start doing the wrap-up and the final shout-outs, if we want to do that, I would like to do some shout-outs towards the end. Was there any cool stuff that you brought?
Ooh, I did. So, the very first thing when I walked in, I made a beeline for Corinne's booth because I had to have her 2024 Dragon calendar. Like, that was my very first purchase of the day, of the weekend. I got that first thing Friday. Dragon calendar, right there. That was mine. And then I had also picked up, what all did I get?
You got.
I took a picture of it, and I have it. It's on my phone, and it's put away, and I can
that's very
see
helpful
right
for like an audio review of this. Yes, I'm sure the audience listening to that can really see that.
Listen. Okay?
People are getting
I got stuff. Okay?
But here's
I'm
the thing.
very happy with my stuff.
Here's the thing. People don't, like most people when I'm doing my geek scene, I'm trying to be prim and proper. They don't get to see my massive smart ass side to me. You got the cup, didn't you?
Okay, so I got this cup, and it was it was from this booth that was in the game room, okay? And it was they did these laser etchings on metal, and it was this booth, and it said Potion of Awakening, and it had this pink background. I'm not even really into pink, but I really liked this cup, okay? Really liked it. And it just looks so cool. So I got it. And I also got this bottle can opener that said +1 charisma on one side, and I don't remember what it said on the other side. It said like -1 coordination or something. I don't know.
Constitution?
Might have been -1 constitution.
Yeah.
If I don't have something in front of me, I can't remember it.
No, but I know. I think that's what it said was -1 constitution. I'm glad my memory's working for once.
I appreciate it, yeah. So, and then I got a couple of board games, and then I also got this Cthulhu magnet. It's this like Cthulhu who's gumming like a D20 magnet thing.
Okay.
That thing was super cute. It's gonna go on the fridge. It's gonna be on my wall of magnets that's on the side of the fridge.
Okay.
I collect magnets. I like them.
I would have never guessed. But
I even got you a magnet collection started. Got you one. The rest are all mine.
Well, as I normally say in these situations, that's nice, dear.
Nobody asked you.
I didn't really buy a whole lot. I bought an art commission, and I bought like a comic. Actually, no, I bought 3 comic books. I bought I can't remember this kid's name off the top of my head. I do remember meeting him years ago at the Motor City Black Age of Comics. I think I went there in 2017, and I saw this young man who was like, I think middle school or high school, like middle school or early high school, and he had came up with a comic book and stuff. And like I was like, hey, yeah, I wanted to support, young artists and writers and stuff like that. So I bought his book. I think it was called Clarity Girl, and I enjoyed it back then. And then I saw that he was at C4 for the first time this year, and I was like surprised. And I was like, oh, I remember you from Motor City Black Age of Comics. And I purchased his book. Like when I went to go purchase, I had a card, but he wasn't able to do card transactions. So he was like, "You got cash or Venmo?" And I was like, "No," but I was like, I got you." And then like I came back the next day with a $20 bill, compliments of my girlfriend who lent me money that I could pay her back. So that way I can give him $20 cash and give him money to buy a book off him, because I remember him and he was always nice. He was nice back then, and I wanted, like, see, here's the thing, folks. If you're like nice to me, I will come back and buy your stuff. And this is like he only met me the once, but like I remember those things for like a very long time. So of course I wanted to support him. I bought him more, like I mentioned earlier, I bought a Mortal Kombat art book off of Ben Templesmith. Like he's never did like official work for Mortal Kombat, but like he was inspired to do Mortal Kombat drawings, and I like his work. And then I bought as I mentioned earlier, I bought the second Riley book from Jeff Manley. And that was pretty much it for merch that I got. And also, like, shout out to Evandale Huker. Evan, I know I can never pronounce his last name, but like he gave me a pendant that he made, and like every time I've seen Evan, it's always good to see him. I didn't really get to talk to him so much this year, but he's like a good dude, and he has these awesome fantasy books too.
Oh, I just talked to Evan this morning.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's nice, dear.
Yeah.
I like you just randomly. I talked to him this morning. It's like that kid. I like turtles. Like this is like random. No, I mean I guess
you're gonna get my input. You asked me to be here.
Yeah, that's true, and I'm regretting that every minute that we're doing it.
You should regret it.
I'm regretting it right now. We've been rambling on for so long. We should probably start to wrap this up. I think you did a really succinct wrap up about like the event already, but like I would like to add my 2 cents. Cherry Capital Comic Con, C4 for short. I've always had a great time at the event. I think it's awesome. I think anyone who hasn't been to it should check it out. I mean, it's a great time. I mean, the drink and draw, the prom definitely had a good turnout too. But like the social aspects of that and just hanging out with people like after cons and stuff like that, that's fun. I mean, I would recommend this event, and this is one of the events that I try not to miss each year, and I haven't missed one yet, so I look forward to next year. All right, folks, this is Joe from my geek scene with my lovely girlfriend Sarah, doing a review / rambling diatribe about the Cherry Capital Comic Con. Take it easy.
Bye.
Dun dun dun. Well, I didn't do any shout outs, and I would like to do shout outs to people in no particular order. And if Sarah wants to jump in, she's welcome to. If she doesn't, well, she just doesn't really like people, so I don't.
Hey now.
But with that being said,
don't like you.
That's understandable.
Lie.
Shout outs. I would like to give a shout out to the C4 crew: Rob, Corey, Pat, Mike. I don't know who so much, but you know, I always appreciate that they always bring me out each year to cover their event. Shout out to Mark from the Grand Rapids Comic Con. It's always good to see him. Shout out to, like I said, Evan Dale, or just Evan, Carrie, Corinne, Jay Fosgett, JJ Cott, Johnny Viner, Seth. Jeez, I am Mike from Astronomicon, Tim, who came up,
Christy,
Will, Krista, Andy, Travis, Misty, Taryn, Stephanie, Mike, Austin, Jeff. I mean, people that we already mentioned in like the review, and I'm doing that with quotation marks, or as I like to say, parentheses, you know. But it's just like, I have to give these people a shout out because, like, if I would have been doing a written review, these people would have still got a shout out. So yeah,
Oh, I did talk to the dude that I got that one giant painting from last year. What was his name?
Rob Hogan.
Rob Hogan, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Rob Hogan.
Amazing
Yes,
artist.
he's awesome.
Love his stuff. Yes.
Shout out to Rob Hogan. You know, Scott Rosema, his wife, Susie. Susie's
Oh yes,
cool.
Scott Rosema. He's a Muskegon native with me.
Yes. Oh, shout out to Dave Brown Jr. You know, I'm glad to see that he's starting to make the rounds at C4 as well. And final shout out to all the people that I didn't remember off the top of my head, but if I did talk to you at any point this weekend, shout out to Jason Plowman. It's always good to see him, although I did apologize profusely that I did not get to talk to him at all this weekend so much because he was like busy doing work and it was elsewhere. That's the part that sucks. It's like I don't have enough time to say hello to everybody, or I don't make enough time. That's my fault, so I should probably do that. But yeah, shout out to Jason as well. One of the unsung heroes from behind the scenes. Good dude. So, but yeah, this will wrap up my shout out list. Is there any but once again, shout out to everyone. If I encountered you at C4 and had a good time talking to you, you're all awesome, and I appreciate all of you.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see you all next time.
All right. Take it easy, folks.